You want respect. Then build the cost of disrespect. Watch 3 rooms collapse. In the office, a manager announces deadlines with a smile and no teeth. Late reports keep arriving, each with a story, each accepted. Meetings grow longer, projects wobble. Morale rots from the quiet knowledge that nothing happens when you fail. In the home, a partner breaks promises, swears it will be different, and is rewarded with another chance. The apology becomes a password. On the field, the star ignores practice rules and still starts on game day. Everyone learns the same lesson. Rules without cost are rumors. Respect does not answer speeches. Respect answers gravity. When there is no gravity, even good people drift into negligence. You call it patience. They hear permission. You believe decency will guide behavior. They calculate risk and find it empty. This is not because people are evil. It is because people are human. Incentives shape us more reliably than sermons. A sovereign who forgets this is not merciful. He is naive. The trap is wanting to be liked. You smooth the edges. You delay the hard talk. You swallow the small insult because you fear the larger scene. But every delay is a broadcast. My boundary is negotiable. Disobedience does not march through the gate. It seeps under it, one wet inch at a time. A missed call you let slide. A deadline you extend. A tone you excuse because the quarter is tense. Soon, the scale has shifted. You no longer set terms. You plead for compliance. You think kindness will inspire reform. Occasionally it does. More often, it produces a gambler. The offender makes a private calculation. The benefit of breaking the rule exceeds the cost, which is nothing. So the habit grows. First they test minutes, then money, then face. Your silence sponsors their courage. Your smile underwrites their next attempt. By trying to keep the peace, you finance the war. Authority is not noise, it is design. Clear laws, certain penalties, proportional, prompt, impersonal. When the rule is broken, the cost arrives like the hour, expected, exact. No lectures, no threats. A stripe removed from the uniform. A late delivery credited back to the client at the vendor's expense. A meeting seat lost for a week. The point is not pain, the point is certainty. Certainty deters. Pain only angers. This is how you recover a room. Write 5 non-negotiables. Define the first consequence, the second, the separation. Publish it where all can see. Then practice your tone. Brief, calm, bloodless. You missed the deliverable. As agreed, your next assignment is reduced and the fee adjusted. We reset Monday. You do not debate motives. You enforce outcomes. When they attempt theater, tears, weather, enemies do not audition. Repeat the line, apply the cost, return to work. In personal life, the same machine, smaller and kinder. If a friend repeatedly arrives late, the invitation time moves earlier for them alone, or the invite pauses for a month. If a partner breaks a key agreement, there is a defined consequence that is restorative. First, repair, recommitment, shared plan, then restrictive if patterns repeat. Penalties protect love when they are known in advance and delivered without poison. Mercy survives inside structure. Outside it, mercy becomes bait. You fear that penalties will make you cold. The opposite is true. When rules are clear and costs are certain, you need fewer confrontations. People who want to stay will adjust. People who want to exploit will leave. Both outcomes buy you peace. Order is not cruelty. It is the midwife of affection. In a quiet state, warmth can breathe again. Begin with one test. Choose a rule you violate against yourself, sleep, phone, work hours, and enforce a cost the moment you break it. Feel the sting. Feel the focus that follows. Private discipline creates public authority. When your own penalties are real, your face changes, your words carry weight, your gates finally hold. Make the law simple. Make the cost certain. Make your voice quiet. Let certainty, not volume, command respect. A prince must learn how not to be good. You don't weaponize cruelty, you govern mercy. Leniency does not purchase loyalty. It leases it to opportunists at a discount. The warm lie says, be soft, and they will stay. The cold truth says, be clear, and they will behave. Order first, then kindness without order. Kindness invites disorder, and later forces the harshness you tried to avoid. Kindness without hierarchy becomes weakness. You can say, I understand, or you can say, I understand, and here's the rule, and here's the cost of breaking it. Only one of those sentences produces respect, the other produces a second violation. Endless second chances devalue the first chance. When the first has no weight, every chance becomes practice for the next excuse. Think of the teammate who misses a deadline and receives only empathy. He learns the schedule is a suggestion. Think of the friend who cancels late and is met with, no worries, any time she learns that your time is a bottomless well. You believe you're proving heart. You are proving that consequences are optional. Hierarchy is not arrogance, it is architecture. Rules are the walls that keep warmth inside. When you erase walls to feel closer, the wind takes the heat. What follows is not intimacy but quiet opportunism. People push because the floor holds, and they keep pushing until it doesn't. Then they blame you for the collapse your leniency financed. The adult remedy is simple. Publish the rule, publish the price, and apply both without drama. Use the sentence that ends games. I'm not angry, I'm deciding. Surgical tone, calm face, clear tariff. If you cancel inside 24 hours, you pay the fee. If the report is late, we ship without your name on it. If you shout, we end the conversation. These are not punishments, they are prices. Prices make behavior honest. When prices vanish, manipulation arrives dressed as misunderstanding. People are remarkably reasonable when the math is visible and astonishingly reckless when it isn't. Affection that demands exemptions is appetite, not love. Real care joins the shared order. Appetite bargains to be above it. You see it at work when a top performer wants flexibility without accountability. Keep the bonus, skip the audit. You see it in friendship when someone asks for your silence about damage on your floor. Be loyal, don't mention the mess. You see it in romance when chaos is romanticized. If you loved me, you'd understand why I broke the rule. That is not love for you. It is convenience for them. Exemptions rot the foundation. They teach everyone that rules are banners, not beams. Exemptions are sabotage dressed as intimacy. The moment someone asks for a special lane, they are asking the city to tear up its streets so their car can drive anywhere. When the streets break, everyone moves slower, including them. You do not need grand speeches to expose this. You need one baseline sentence. I care about you, and I care about the order we share, so no exemptions. If they call that cold, they were warm only toward their own ease. The people who truly care will protect the order that protects both of you. When you remove exemptions, the right people feel safer. The wrong people feel caged. Both reactions are data. The right people understand that fairness requires predictability. They adjust, apologize, and improve. The wrong people prefer your mood to the rule because moods can be pleaded with. Do not trade a code for vibes. Vibes are how appetite sands your standards into dust. A rule is a door with a hinge. Vibes are a curtain in the wind. One lets life open and close without damage. The other rips. Harmony requires fear of disorder. This is the Machiavellian calculus. You resist because it sounds harsh, mild, certain, Penalties today prevent harsher outcomes tomorrow. Cruelty well used is done early, done cleanly, and serves stable order. Translate that to your life. A small late fee keeps projects from imploding. A brief pause in contact after a boundary breach prevents the long winter of resentment. A written performance plan saves a team from the slow bleed of unspoken disappointment. Preventive penalties are not cruelty, they are medicine. You swallow a bitter dose now to avoid the surgery later. Make penalties mild and automatic. The heat should be in the certainty, not the severity. A parent who always follows through on small consequences raises steadier children than one who rarely punishes but occasionally explodes. A leader who quietly enforces the rule every time earns trust. The leader who forgives 99 times and erupts on the 100th earns fear without respect. You do not want fear of you, you want fear of disorder. People should feel that chaos is expensive here and that you will not subsidize it. Bring it to the phone in your hand. Someone texts at 1:13 a.m. demanding attention. Your old habit writes a paragraph. Your new order writes nothing until business hours, not to play games to stop playing yourself. In the group chat, sarcasm at your expense has been the joke for months. The mild, certain penalty. You leave the thread and tell the host why once, in one sentence. In the office, the chronic interrupter thrives because you reward interruption with instant answers. The penalty is procedural. Send the request by email. I answer after 2. No anger, only architecture. You fear. Enforcement will make you unlovable. It will make you unusable. There is a difference. Use is conditional on your softness. Love is conditional on your character. Character keeps order even when it costs affection in the short term. The paradox is that order multiplies real affection over time because people can trust what stands still. Chaos seduces quickly and then breaks what it touches. Order feels strict and then protects what matters. Your reputation should be simple, generous within the frame, unbending about the frame. If you want stronger loyalty, make the frame visible. Publish the rules of engagement in your life. I return calls from 3 to 5. I lend tools but not money. I reschedule once. I don't date people who lie. These are doors with hinges. Hinges let doors open and close without ripping off the wall. Without hinges, you either barricade or blow in the wind. Stop trying to buy loyalty with leniency. You are not a clearance rack. You are a standard. The more you discount, the more you attract people who shop for discounts. Charge full price in predictability. Offer deep generosity inside that price. That is how cities stay clean, teams stay sharp, households stay sane, and love stays love. Govern mercy with order. Men are driven by 2 principal impulses, either by love or by fear. You tell yourself you choose peace. You speak softly and let small cuts slide because you don't want a war over inches, but your shadow keeps the ledger. It remembers every time you over-explained, every time you delayed a hard talk until resentment fermented, every time you laughed off a violation so the room would stay warm. You didn't choose peace. You chose penalties deferred, and the interest is breaking your economy. People-pleasing is a covert policy. You don't announce it, you enforce it silently. You explain yourself in paragraphs when a sentence would do, because you are negotiating for permission instead of practicing authority. You delay the difficult call, then send a long text that says everything except the thing, because being clear feels dangerous. You make a joke when your boundary is crossed, hoping humor can do the work of law. In every case, the signal is the same. Consequences here are negotiable. The crowd reads the signal and tests the fence again. Compassion without clarity is governance by rumor. You can be kind and still be exact. Instead, you forgive early. Revise the story to make the other person noble, and tell yourself that understanding is healing. Understanding is not healing. Consequence is. Healing is knowing that the inner child in you no longer runs the courts. Adults post the rules in daylight, then keep them when the sun goes down. If you want respect, stop subsidizing disrespect. The pattern deserves a name without shame: avoidance of penalties. Not because you are weak, but because you are wounded. Once, conflict meant abandonment. Once, saying that hurt meant the room went cold or the door slammed, so you learned to dilute yourself. You learned to swap the sword for a smile. The child in you believed survival required softness, and back then, the child was right. But you are not a child now. You own a state. Your calendar is a city. Your attention is a treasury. Your values are the law. This is the fantasy of painless order. The inner child believes that if you behave well enough, other people will self-correct. If you are agreeable, they'll notice. If you are patient, they'll mature. If you never call the foul, they'll stop fouling. It is prayer disguised as policy. Children pray that monsters change. Adults design locks. A healthy state does not run on wishes, it runs on mechanisms. Mechanisms are small, predictable costs. You don't need rage, you need schedules. You don't need dramatic speeches, you need levers that click. Missed deadline, access decreases. Disrespect in public. Conversation ends in public and continues only after an apology in the same room where the damage was done. Habitual lateness. Meetings move without the latecomer, and their voice is absent from the decision they missed. No screaming. Cause and effect. Printed once and executed every time. Modern examples are everywhere. The friend who only calls when they need a favor meets a new system. Favors go through a calendar, not through your guilt. The client who forgets to pay on time meets an invoice with a late fee that triggers automatically, no phone calls needed. The situationship that thrives on ambiguity meets a firm gate. Clarity by Friday or access closes Monday. You didn't punish, you priced. Adults understand price. Children argue fairness. This is not about being feared. It's about being legible. Predictable, proportionate penalties create a public memory. People begin to remember that your time has a tariff, your attention has seasons, your yes is ceremonial, not casual. You stop being the person they squeeze and become the person they schedule. That memory is called reputation, and reputation is forged by refusals. Refusals are not drama, they are design. You don't broadcast them with a trumpet, you demonstrate them with repetition. I don't explain a closed door. I don't accept deadlines I did not agree to. I don't stay in rooms where respect is rationed. Said once, they sound like preferences. Enforced 10 times, they become law. After enough law, you become legend, not because you are loud, but because you are consistent. You fear that penalties will make people leave. Some will. Let them file their exit paperwork. Better a clean departure than a slow bleed. The citizens who remain will adapt. Respect grows in the soil of steady enforcement. Even your shadow will relax. The inner child expected rage in response to your boundaries. Show it calm. Show it a gate that swings smoothly on well-oiled hinges. Show it officers who do not shout. They simply stand. What about love? Love survives boundaries. It starves without them. Friends, partners, teams, they flourish when the land is surveyed and the fences are real. Closeness becomes safer because the map is honest. Costs are known, rewards are stable, and affection deepens as fear of chaos recedes. Right mechanisms you can keep on a tired day. Default, penalties must be small enough to be automatic. If the rule requires courage every time, you will fail on the days you are human. Make it easier to keep your word than to break it. Use the calendar as a judge, not your mood. Use systems whose enforcement depends on clicks, not adrenaline. Remember, words without penalties are weather. The forecast changes and your life floods again. But when action follows word, the climate stabilizes. You become a place. You may worry this makes you less nice. Niceness is not the benchmark. Health is. You can be warm and exacting, generous and structured, tender and unmovable. The child in you believed love meant no costs. The adult in you knows costs make love legible. Refusals rescue the parts of you that had to smile while drowning. Penalties protect the work you are called to do. So the policy is simple. People-pleasing is repealed. Painless order is retired. Mechanisms replace prayers. Refusals mint your reputation, and your reputation secures your borders. Do this quietly, daily, without apology. You will watch your life unblur. You will see who respects you when begging is no longer a service you provide. And you will discover that many who seemed powerful were simply benefiting from your lack of law. Govern yourself as if you intend to last. Recover the pen from your wounds. Write the costs into the code and keep them with a steady hand. Order will not arrive by hope. It will arrive by you. Calm law every day. Injuries ought to be done all at one time, so that, being tasted less, they offend less. You felt generous when you suspended consequences. It seemed humane, even modern. But a state without penalties becomes a bazaar of violations. Stalls appear overnight, late arrivals with no explanation, sarcasm sold as banter, promises made and casually withdrawn. Every free trespass is a counterfeit coin that still buys space in your day. When crossings cost nothing, they multiply. The market of favors crashes, and your calendar turns into a street where anyone can set up shop on your time. Trust, once priced like gold, starts trading like scrap. Picture the ledger, a favor here, a forgiveness there. No invoice, no due date. The numbers do not vanish. They sink into you like uncollected taxes. Your back tightens, your sleep frays. The body keeps accounts the tongue refuses to send. It pays in headaches, in shallow breaths, in the dull ache between the shoulders when another quick ask arrives as you finally sit down to eat. Economics may be abstract, but cost is physical. Jaw clenched, pulse rising, appetite fading. Over time you notice the shrinkage of your patience, then of your standards, and finally, of your name. Violations spread by imitation. If lateness is absorbed, contempt will be tested next. If "I was busy" settles the matter, "I forgot" will follow. Then it's not a big deal. Then nothing at all, just the slide of habit. Scarcity once protected you. Your attention was disciplined currency, minted and numbered. Now the presses run all night, so observers assume quality is down because supply is up. People are not cruel accountants. They are responsive traders. They pay only what the market demands. You do not need rage to reprice the market. You need clarity. But before clarity, the cycle appears. Tolerate, explode, apologize, tolerate more. It begins quietly. You smooth over the slight because conflict feels expensive. You carry the cost in silence until your inner treasury runs dry, and then the deficit raids your voice. You snap. Words, once measured, come out like shrapnel. And for a moment, you feel strong. Then, the backlash. You hate the sound of yourself angry, so you draft a message that explains your outburst and offers context no one asked for. You refund the very penalty that finally appeared. Offenders learn something precise. Wait out the weather, and the ruler will rebuild the tent stronger and warmer than before. Inconsistency teaches gambling. They do not need to plan disrespect when they can calculate odds. If the worst outcome of repeated violations is a brief storm followed by your apology, why change the weather at all? See the montage. You at a table, dinner growing cold, tapping a long explanation to someone who left you waiting last week and now wants 2 minutes. You on a call, voice careful, accepting a story you would never allow yourself to tell. You rushing across town because a person who ignores your boundaries suddenly has time, and their time has become the sun around which your day orbits. In the mirror you look capable but depleted, a firefighter in formal clothes, always almost late to your own life. A principality cannot run on alarms. It needs law. Without clear costs, authority transfers to the most demanding person in the room, the one who threatens drama, withholds affection, or floods channels until others give in. Power becomes a volume contest. The calm lose by, and refusing to shout. You tell yourself you are being kind. In truth, you are letting noise set policy. The loudest voice becomes minister of the interior. Your quiet values are exiled to ceremonial speeches. Watch how the throne disappears, not in a coup, but in paperwork. Meetings extend without aim. You approve plans you did not design just to end the argument. You accept terms mid-sentence because fatigue feels like reason when you are drowning. Soon you stand to speak and the room does not look up. You hold the scepter, someone else holds the schedule. Every unclear cost is a small abdication, and abdications compound like interest against you. Machiavelli would advise consolidation. Penalties are not cruelty, they are borders. A penalty says, this river cannot be crossed without a bridge, and the bridge has a tariff. When the tariff is zero, caravans stampede the riverbed and call the dust freedom. To rebuild order, you do not scream, you price. Price tardiness, price disrespect. Price the second cancellation after a promise. Make the prices visible, consistent, and immediate. Injuries all at once, benefits little by little. Structure turns resentment into equilibrium. Begin with 3 laws. First, violations cost time with you. Not a lecture, not a debate time. A missed appointment loses the next slot. A raised voice ends the conversation and resumes only at a scheduled hour when both are calm. Second, requests require lead time. Last-minute emergencies are handled by the person who created them, not by your nervous system. Third, apologies are words, remediation is payment. If a promise broke something, the repair is on the breaker. You accept improvement, not the theater of regret. Enforcement must be quiet and total. If you warn, you weaken. If you negotiate the price once it is set, you turn the currency to confetti. The first week will rattle the building. People trained by your inconsistency will arrive with objections, tears, charm, threats, or silence. Do not dramatize. Invoice. We will try again next week. This conversation resumes tomorrow at 10. I do not accept that tone. We can continue when it changes. Hold steady until the habits reprice themselves. Your body will protest because chaos had given you something, the thrill of being needed, the quick hit of relevance, the illusion of closeness. Withdrawal feels like emptiness. Do not mistake it for a bad policy. It is your nervous system recalibrating. Soon, the quiet returns. The phone stops burning your pocket. Rooms become breathable. People who value order stay. People who thrived on debt seek a different treasury. The resentment that once replaced leadership drains away because the books finally balance. Now face the mirror. Leadership is not the power to endure the flames. It is the choice to keep the building fireproof. You do not have to be feared in the caricatured sense. You must be legible. When penalties are absent, you become a firefighter and call it love. When costs are clear, you become a ruler and call it respect. Reform today, not later. Close the open tabs of unfinished arguments. Replace apologies with policies. Replace speeches with invoices. Replace panic with price. The throne is not a chair, it is a schedule backed by consequence. Sit in it, price it, then peace. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Carl Jung, you mistook leniency for love because you feared the cost of saying no. In daylight you smiled. In shadow you dreaded rupture and being called cold. So you removed penalties and called it kindness. But where there are no consequences, the unconscious drives. People test what has no edge. What looked like devotion was leverage pressed against your softness. Respect does not thrive in loopholes, it thrives on lawful ground, where meaning can stand. Penalties protect dignity, not ego. Treat them as the city walls of your inner life. Walls do not hate the world, they honor what lives within. When you set consequences, you are not punishing, you are pricing entry. A teammate misses deadlines because you are understanding. A partner mocks a boundary and still expects your warmth that night. A friend only calls in crisis, never in calm. Without penalties, you teach them that your dignity is cheap. With penalties, you teach them the market rate of your presence. Consequences are not vengeful. You are responsible for the order that keeps love clean. Make it practical. If a colleague blows a deliverable, the response is structure. All work moves through the tracker, and missing the window means the project advances without their peace. If a partner breaks an agreement, the next step is a pause. No intimacy until repair and recommitment are real, not promised. If a friend treats you like a 24/7 hotline, create office hours, responses twice a day, emergency calls only when marked and justified. This is not superiority. It is stewardship of limited life. Warmth after order. Sequence matters because the psyche organizes around pattern. Chaos at the gate becomes chaos at the table. Establish the line. Enforce the cost. Then offer warmth. Begin with clarity. Here is the boundary. Then reality. Here is the cost of crossing it. Only then the embrace. I care. And here is the path back in. This protects your tenderness from being harvested and your generosity from curdling into self-contempt. A home with no locks breeds suspicion. A home with locks and invitations breeds ease. Picture your morning. Deep focus. Phone on do not disturb. Calendar blocks sacred. At noon you open the gate. Messages, meetings, momentum. Someone demands instant replies at 9 because it only takes a second. The old you apologizes and breaks the block. The new you enforces the cost. Replies happen in windows. True emergencies call this number. Then, warmth. Happy to help at noon. Add it to the agenda. What shifts is not your heart, but the order that lets your heart stay generous. Another scene. Dating. You agree on communication, thoughtful texts, weekly planning, no vanishing acts. They disappear for days and return with a playful meme. The unconscious hopes your longing will erase the lesson. You enforce the cost. We continue after an honest conversation and a concrete plan. Then warmth. If you are in, I am open Thursday at 7, same cafe. Order first, welcome second. It is not a game. It is guardianship of meaning, from apologies to agreements. Apologies belong to genuine harm, not to the act of having standards. Many sorries are bribes paid to avoid conflict with your own shadow. Replace guilt with terms. Speak like a treaty maker. Here are the conditions. Here is the channel. Here is the next step. Compliance becomes easy. Excuses become expensive. Someone cancels last minute twice. Update the agreement. Future plans confirm by noon the day before, or the slot closes. A manager drops scope on you at 5. Your terms. I'll deliver the defined portion now. The rest schedules for tomorrow. Standards stop being personal. They become procedural. Language reshapes psyche. Replace "sorry, I'm busy" with "I'm booked, here are my open windows." Replace "maybe later" with "if it arrives by 5, it ships tomorrow. Otherwise, Monday." Replace "I'm fine" with "I'm willing, after repair." In teams, move from "can you help" to "here is the scope, deadline, and success criteria. Do you accept?" In relationships, trade "I just need you to understand" for "here is what I need, here is how you can deliver, and here is how I will meet you." Agreements are bridges across the river of mood. Apologies are flotation devices when you actually fall in. As you practice, your shadow stops running the show. The part of you terrified of absence learns that space is not abandonment, it is oxygen. The part of others that loved your loopholes either matures or leaves. Let departures reveal who was there for access and who is there for you. Leverage without love starves outside your walls. Love with respect learns your schedule, keeps its word, and knocks with intention. Here is the reframe, clean and final. What looked like love in the absence of penalties was leverage feeding on your fear. Real respect survives rules because it wants you, not your loopholes. It chooses the cost because it values the castle, not merely the open gate. Keep your sequence, keep your terms, then let your warmth do its quiet, noble work. I guard the gate with order and welcome the worthy with warmth. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Carl Jung. You don't avoid your shadow, you appoint it. You give it a place in your laws so it cannot ambush your day. Penalties are not anger, they are architecture. You are building gravity, proportional, prompt, impersonal, and visible. The goal is deterrence, not drama. Clarity, not catharsis. You will feel calmer the moment the rules exist, because chaos only thrives in blank space. Where the law is written, the shadow understands its boundaries. First, define your non-negotiables, the 5 to 7 lines that cannot be crossed without cost. Make them simple, observable, and testable. For example, punctuality, honesty by default, commitment to planned work blocks, respect for response windows, zero tolerance for contempt, confidentiality for private matters, and stewardship of shared resources, money, equipment, calendars. Write them down where you can see them daily. Each law should include a brief rationale, so it feels like a health code, not a personal grudge. Next, build the ladder of consequences. 3 steps, no improvisation. Warning, cost, separation. The warning is calm documentation, brief description, date, and the law breached. The cost is proportionate, a withheld privilege, a fee, a rescheduled favor, or removal from a queue. Separation is not rage, it is distance to protect the system, muted threads, restricted access, or ending a collaboration. Because the ladder is pre-declared, each step feels inevitable, not personal. Shadow work becomes system, not theater. Public memory, private dignity. This is how legitimacy grows. You keep a record of violations, outcomes, and dates. Not a diary of grudges, an audit trail. In teams, use a shared policy doc. In relationships, a short, neutral log visible to both parties. Correct in private when the breach is intimate. Publish the policy, so outcomes never surprise. Think of restaurant health scores. Nobody is humiliated, yet everyone understands why the doors close when the standards fail. Transparency prevents conspiracy and builds trust. Consistency is the soul of authority. Apply the same law the same way regardless of mood or social rank. If a friend arrives late, the same clock measures them as it does a client. Your own name belongs in the ledger too. Self-violations trigger self-costs. No streaming until deep work is complete. Workouts doubled after skipped sessions. Discretionary spending paused after impulse buys. When your shadow sees that you include yourself, it stops bargaining and begins cooperating. A principled prince is more trusted than a charming opportunist. Timing, optics, and tone make penalties feel like gravity rather than revenge. Enforce quickly while the facts are fresh. Say less and mean more. Use measured language. Per our policy X, this is step 2, cost. Avoid moral insults, no character assassination, no diagnostic labels. Certainty does the work. The letter of the rule, the timestamp, the consequence. In digital life, that might look like pausing a group chat for an hour after off-topic spam, revoking edit access for a week after sloppy changes to shared files, and automatically rescheduling work after repeated lateness. Your shadow craves spectacle. Refuse to. Feed it. No sarcastic posts, no subtweets, no courtroom speeches. If someone escalates with heat, you lower your voice and raise the structure. I understand you're upset. The policy still holds. The colder the enforcement, the faster the storm exhausts itself. Remember, power that argues is power that doubts itself. Power that proceeds is power the psyche learns to trust. Mercy with a spine preserves loyalty without inviting decay. Offer limited amnesty for first offenders, a one-time reset after a sincere repair apology, restitution, and a plan to prevent recurrence. Name it precisely. First offense amnesty granted. Ladder resets to step 0. Make the path back visible. Small duties earned. Privileges restored in phases. But deny repeat pleas that ignore the ladder. Compassion becomes complicity when it blocks feedback from reality. If a pattern returns, separation is the medicine that protects the organism. Balance is achieved by proportion. A minor delay costs punctuality credit. A breach of confidentiality triggers immediate separation. You calibrate impact, not emotion. Before acting, you ask, what consequence teaches the lesson with the least collateral damage? This keeps the shadow from wearing a judge's robe. The penalty educates, it does not humiliate. The aim is restored order, not a victorious ego. Rituals that signal closure prevent the quiet rot of unspoken punishment. After a penalty, mark a reset point. In practice, a short message, reset in effect as of Monday, normal cadence resumes. In person, a warm, ordinary greeting at the next meeting, a handshake, the simple return of eye contact. When the cost is paid, you restore normal warmth. Resentment starves when the future is reopened. Lasting relationships survive because they know how to end a chapter without ending the book. Make the closure visceral. Clear your desk after a breach is resolved. Archive the email thread. Rename the project folder with the new start, a date. Change something you can see so your body trusts the reset. The psyche is ritual hungry. Without a symbol, the mind replays the old scene and calls it vigilance. With a symbol, vigilance becomes readiness. Modern life presents endless test cases. A roommate ignores cleaning duties. Step 1, a written reminder with the checklist. Step 2, they fund a cleaning service for the month. Step 3, they find other housing at lease end. A colleague misses deadlines. First, a time-blocking plan. Second, move them off the critical path for 2 sprints. Third, escalate to role change. A partner violates a privacy boundary. First, a candid repair conversation. Second, strict access limits. Third, a dignified separation if the pattern continues. You are not punishing people. You are teaching systems how to protect what matters. The shadow respects boundaries that do not blink. Over time, your penalties get lighter because your clarity grows brighter. People who can thrive in order will draw closer. Chaos will drift away without theatrics. That is the quiet victory of a principality well governed from the inside. Less heat, more certainty, fewer speeches, stronger laws. The scaffold holds even when you are tired. It is a contract with yourself. I will defend tomorrow with what I enforce today. You meet the shadow each time you keep your word under pressure, and you return from that meeting with a calmer face. Let the consequence be the teacher, and let the future feel safe. Men are driven by two principal impulses, either by love or by fear. Order does not mean ice. It means everyone understands the terms. When people know how your world works, they settle. You settle. Calm is the dividend of order. Picture a stable day. You wake without midnight alarms because you closed the door on late messages. You plan in the morning, you move at noon, you land by evening. Fewer crises, because most fires were prevented yesterday by simple rules today. Meetings shrink to the real topic. You begin on time, you end on time, and no one performs for applause. The silence between calls is not empty, it is oxygen. You can hear your own judgment again. Calm as the dividend of order looks ordinary from the outside and priceless from the inside. Your team knows the agenda before the call, so ideas arrive dressed, not frantic. Your partner knows your work window and respects it, because you respect it first. Friends learn that you are not a vending machine for time. They get fewer, richer hours and bring their real selves, not their highlight reels. You have margin for the unexpected, a sick kid, a broken pipe, a sad friend, because your day is not already sold to chaos. The body registers the change, shoulders lower, voice slows, sleep returns. Clarity replaces drama because the script is simple and everybody has read it. You suspect enforcement will make life harsh. It does the opposite when it is mild and steady. Small costs prevent great losses. A 5-minute late fee for repeat tardiness protects your afternoons from the slow theft of casual delay. A 24-hour cancellation rule guards your calendar and teaches respect without a lecture. A 2-window reply policy midday and late afternoon saves your focus, and the work you once dragged across weeks now crosses the line today. In love, soft certainty keeps the heart safe. You do not wait 3 days to answer and then flood the thread at midnight. You keep a rhythm that feels human, and trust grows because rhythm is proof. Money obeys the same physics. Automatic savings drafts feel like tiny penalties today, yet they rescue you from big emergencies later. Health does too. A boring bedtime, a quick stretch, a glass of water before coffee, trivial costs that prevent the expensive collapse. Discipline stops being a mood and becomes self-respect in motion. You are kinder because you are not exhausted. You are generous because you are not leaking. Predictability is merciful. Good actors stay because they can trust the floor. Bad actors leave because there is no stage for chaos. You do not raise your voice, you raise your standards and keep them visible. Now the standing oath. Choose one rule to write today and one penalty to enforce this week. No heat, just certainty. Write the rule where you will see it. All requests land in one place, or no calls past 9, or no work without a written plan. Keep it small enough to keep on hard days. Then attach a gentle, automatic penalty that preserves the frame without poison. If you miss your bedtime, tomorrow's screen time is cut by half. If a client misses a deadline without notice, their next request moves to the end of the queue. If a friend cancels twice on short notice, the next invite is coffee, not a full evening. You are not punishing, you are pricing chaos, so it cannot afford your life. Enforce in the open and without edge. Tell people the rule before they ever meet the penalty. When the line is crossed, apply the cost and move on. No speeches, no sarcasm, no courtroom. You are protecting the commons of your time, your money, Your attention. Seal the oath with a Sunday review. 10 minutes, same chair, same pen. Ask 3 questions. What worked? What failed? What must be made easier to keep? Adjust the execution, never the principle. Keep penalties smaller than the harm they prevent, and keep them certain. Over weeks, you will feel what real power is like. Quiet, clean, and light on the throat. Respect compounds. You need fewer penalties because people would rather live under clarity than gamble under chaos, and that includes you. Make order gentle, make penalties certain, and let your peace compound.